I'm gonna pad my mat with a blanket because some of these stretches are done on the knees. And then a couple blocks, or one at least, will help bring the floor to you, especially in the beginning. If you're feeling really tight, blocks would be super helpful for you. So we'll start with the right foot forward. You can take the hands on blocks to slide your knee back. So just coming into a low lunge to start. If you feel like this pose doesn't do much for you out the gate, I mean, I really feel it already in the front of my left hip, you can take your foot up on a block or even two, and that's going to intensify the stretch for you. So just decide what works best. Just depend on how sore you are. Left knee can slide back. Hands can rest on the thigh, or you might take the arms up. Straighten them and turn it into a little bit of a back bend as well. So you're not right on the kneecap, you're on the bottom of the left thigh. Front knee is going to stack over the ankle. And we won't hold these long like a yin class. It's just to feel a nice stretch. Get an opening here. Keep hugging the inner thighs in. You can keep the back toes tucked. If you're doing the back bend variation, you would lift up through the fingertips and the sternum. Instead of jutting your chin forward, think about sliding it back. 3 more rounds of breath. Good. Stay with this. I'm going to take my foot off the block. So same form essentially for the pose, but this time you're going to slide your left hand down the back of your left thigh, reach your right arm up, and you can keep sliding the left hand down. Take the gaze back, root down into all 4 corners of your front foot, and then just make sure your ribs aren't splaying out. You're still hugging in a touch. Good for 3, 2, 1. Beautiful. Come back forward. So here you might want a hand, or a hand on the block, so front knee bends. Remember to add padding for the back knee if it's getting a little bit sensitive. And then we'll look for a quad stretch on the back. So you can reach back for the inside of the foot. If this feels really tight, remember to prop your hand up or just bend the knee and see how that works for you. Otherwise, trying to reach for the foot and you'll spin your chest to the left. Good, release. Pigeon. So you can have your knee out to the right. If you're super open, you can keep the foot flexed and you're on the knife edge of the right foot and the foot is really flexed and working. I would also suggest that you tuck your back toes. So this is how high my knee up is in this variation. So yeah, super juicy stretch. Also hard to hold yourself up. So I'm going to go more with the full flexion in the front knee. The knee still hugs out to the right. My toes click down, left leg slides back, scapula slides down. You could also have hands on blocks. And then you're still trying to square your hips toward the front of your mat. Keep your back toes tucked to help you do that. Right hip slides back, left hip draws forward. Spine is upright. You'll find a little back bend here. Belly button pulls to spine. On the exhale. Good. And then remove the blocks, sit off onto your right hip so you can swing your left leg around. And then you'll keep the right knee bent, toes click down. Take the left foot outside the left thigh, sliding the heel back toward the upper thigh if possible. Take your hands next to your hips and even out the weight distribution in the sitting bones. Lift your left knee while pressing your left sits bone down. Right arm crosses over the shin. Lift your chest and twist to the left. Walk your left fingertips back. Keep drawing the left knee in. You should feel a stretch on the outer hip and glute area, maybe even a little bit into your IT band. Inhale, get long. Exhale, twist, look back. Good, and then take this forward, unwind, and we'll do the other side. So take a moment here. Notice if this side feels a little bit more open. It does for me at least. And then we'll switch sides. So now taking the left foot forward, come in to your lunge. And now we're stretching the front of the right hip. So the right kneecap scoots back. Keep the toes tucked. Hands can be interlaced and press down on your thigh. Carve your tailbone down a little bit to lift your hips. And breathe. Do you want to add in a little back bend? Reach your arms up. Straighten the arms. Take the gaze up, lift from the sternum. Keep hugging the outer left hip back. Good. If you want to add more intensity, you can take the left foot up on a block. So whatever variation you choose, we'll be there about 5 more rounds of breath. Good. Adding on. Right hand slides down the right leg. Left arm reaches up. Maybe remove the block. You can let the hips lower a little bit. Take your gaze back. And press down firmly through the ball of your right foot. Good. Come forward. Keep your forearm on the thigh or take a block outside your left foot. Now you're gonna bend the right knee, look for the quad stretch. So you could either not grab the foot or reach for the inside. Take your gaze back, open your chest up to the right. Good, slowly release, pigeon. So super flexy, you'll make your shin parallel with the top of the mat and you'll flex the foot like crazy. Otherwise, slide your right leg back. You have full flexion in your front knee and the shin is at a diagonal, toes click down. And then you can bring your hands on blocks. Keep this upright. Outer left hip draws back, front of right hip pulls forward. Good. And then remove the blocks if you like. You'll sit off to the left hip, swing the right leg around. Your right foot steps outside the left thigh. Take your hands next to your hips, lift them up, try to even out the weight distribution on the sits bones, specifically making the right side more heavy. Draw your knee into the chest. Take your left arm around the shin, maybe hook the knee into the left elbow. Right fingertips come back. Inhale, get tall. Exhale, twist, look back. And then breathe into the areas of tightness. Good, come back through center. And then you can remove the blanket. And we'll take hero's pose. You might want a bolster back here. You can have it vertical or horizontal. And then you'll take your shins, actually just come up on the shins first. And take your hands to the knee pit. So you've got your like fingers kind of stuck in there, right? And then find the inside of the calf muscle. Notice how it kind of peels in toward the midline. Try to take the calf muscle outward and then sit the hips down. Good, pelvis tilts forward. Inner ankles lift up. And your spine is nice and tall. So option to add on, you'll come down to your forearm, or you'll come down just with your hands like this. This used to be me for a long, long amount of time. Or you start to come down to your forearms. Now, if your back feels really crunchy or like you have a lot of compression, lift your tailbone a little bit and point it more forward versus a tuck. And then decide if you have more space to come down. Maybe you want to be on a blanket. Or you're Shoulder blades might rest. You could take your arms overhead, deepen the back bend with the thigh stretch. You're still pointing your knees down and you're trying to take your calf muscles out to hug your shins into the midline. So if it's okay for your neck, you could let the head drop back to really open up the throat and then have the arms out to the sides. It takes a little bit of adjusting here. And then you're gently pressing down through the knees. Lengthening tailbone forward. Breathing. And if that doesn't feel like much, you can take the left foot, root it down on your mat, and then start to come down. And when you get all the way down to your back, you might take the knee toward the chest and interlace the fingers around the shin while pressing your left knee down. I am not that flexible. You can try it. Good. Root down through the elbows, come back up. If you took that deeper variation, you would switch left foot down, or you're hanging back and just enjoying the opening through the front side body, or you're still up here, which is totally fine. That's where everyone starts. Right kneecap down. Maybe come down. And then if you have the space, your left knee draws in, interlacing fingers around the shin. Deep rounds of breath. Good. Use the elbows to press yourself back up. And then straighten the legs out. And come down to your back. If you want a strap for a hamstring stretch, you would take your left leg long, loop the strap around the right foot, and straighten it up. You can even wrap your hands with the strap. And then you want to keep the right leg straight to actually get the stretch that we're looking for. Press up through the big toe mound while the pinky toe and the one next to it flex toward your face. And then if your leg is straight and it's here, that's fine. Try to straighten it and draw the shape toward your chest. Drive down some weight into the left heel or keep the left foot rooted down. And then just breathe so the back of the right leg opens up a little bit. Relax your jaw. Good. Bend your right knee. Remove the strap if you have it. Interlace the fingers around your shin and draw the right knee toward your right armpit. Inhale. Exhale, release the leg long. Notice the difference between the sides. And then switch it. Left knee draws in. Take the strap around the sole of the left foot. Lengthen the left leg up. And you're taking your outer left hip and pressing it forward. Right heel presses down or bend the knee. Remember, your leg can be wherever in space as long as it's straight. Press up through the big toe mound. Peel the fourth and fifth toe toward your face. You can roll your sits bones forward a little bit, bring back the lumbar curve. And then just gently pulling the leg. Bend your left knee, hug it in, interlace fingers around the shin, draw the knee toward the left armpit. And take the left leg nice and long. Good, find Shavasana. The legs wide, arms can be out. We'll just be here for a couple minutes. Just drop in, allow yourself this gift of stillness. Notice if the body feels different. Relax the space between your eyebrows. Relax your jaw. Let your shoulders be heavy, hips heavy. Feet, just let them turn out to the sides. Complete stillness for 10 rounds of breath. As your mind wanders, just take it back to the breath. Come back to the moment. Deepen your breath. Draw your knees in. You can roll off to one side or grab behind the thighs and rock and roll up to a seat. Once in your seat, keep your eyes closed. Heavy in your sits bones. Hold your hands together in front of your heart. Big breath in. And release. Namaste.